Welcome. This is your boy Jazan Azari, and this is a new episode of Cupcake Chats. And it's gonna be very good because today our topic is relationships, which is, normal around here. However, we're going to get into what is worse, a liar, a cheater, or a serial dater. Well, recently I experienced a situation where I got out of a 7 month relationship. And, it was great. Didn't have, maybe we had one argument. But then again, I'm not an argumentative person. So you going to be sitting there arguing with yourself. However, this ended probably the end of April. And before meeting this person, I, you know, was just finding my groove. It was the pandemic. I was on one of the apps like all other people in the world, because nobody was going out because, you didn't know who had COVID. But one of the very first people I linked up with, I met from the apps. And at first, I kept curving them because I was like, you know what? I'm not interested. You're not my type. But, after like 3 or 4 attempts and me being rude, I was like, yo, I know where to find you if I want to see you. They kept circling back, being very consistent. And I don't know if that was just a turn on or, I was just like, okay, let me just give this person their peace so they will leave me the hell alone. Well, we linked up. We didn't initially do what we wanted to. However, the connection was cool. And, they just gave me this rundown of their previous relationship that they had just got out of 2 weeks prior to me meeting them. Now, my thoughts on that is, everybody needs love, everybody needs a drive by, but do not entertain or appear to be available to a person when you're not. So, I, after knowing the information, was like, you know what? Maybe when I come back over, we can do what we intended to do. They was like, cool. Well, it happened the second, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, and a month goes by. And, we started spending a lot of time together. And the next thing I know, I'm getting called babe, boo, hey, good morning. You getting a good morning text, it starts getting serious. And I'm like, do they like me? Because, this ain't what it is. But I mean, you know, I was casually dating because, I am single until I'm married. That is my motto. Fight whoever you believe says otherwise. But yeah, so I'm entertaining somebody else, that I've been talking to for about a month more than this person. However, there was distance. So this was more convenient, so I entertained the situation. Well, that person gave me an ultimatum. They was like, well, if we're gonna talk, then I just want you talking to me. And I was like, okay, cool. So I did that. And the only reason I did that was I hadn't met the previous person before them yet. So I was like, well, I can't get too invested in somebody I haven't met yet. Even though we've had exchanges and we're cool, I haven't met you. But, I, you know, told them, hey, I'm talking to somebody, and they don't feel a little comfortable with me multitasking. I mean, I'm letting you know beforehand because I started talking to you first. How do you feel? Um, And they were cool with it. It was like, hey, I love the conversations, I don't mind just being your friend. So we remained friends. And the other person, went on about their day. They were appeared to be happy, but apparently their happiness is the ultimate level of great health. And they appeared to be happy, but their health was not. So they weren't happy internally. Like anybody can put on a front, and apparently that is what they did. So a couple months go by, we still talking. I'm still conversing with the other person, and this person's like, wow. So who's this name that keeps popping up in the phone? I was like, well, this is the person. And me being a Cancer, I'm not sugarcoating shit for nobody. Like, it does no justice for anybody for me to lie. I'm like, this is the person that you told me that I had to choose between you and them. They was like, wow. So you still talk to him? I was like, yeah, like we didn't smash. I haven't physically met them. We haven't really had any complications. So why would I cut off somebody that's actually a beneficial friend? They didn't like that. Well, this ended in the one and only quote unquote argument that we ever had. And in the midst of that argument, I walked away from this person because you're not going to sit there and give me 9, 10 laws of hell. And I'm just going to sit there and take it after I've already explained my point. I speak my point. I'm done with the situation. However, they wanted to keep egging it on. They would get quiet, then start it up again, get quiet, start it up again. So I got my happy ass up and went into the other room. Lord, that changed the whole conversation of this situation. And Lord behold, they catch an attitude. We didn't talk for 2 days. I'm the type of person in a relationship, I don't have to talk to you every day. Being in the entertainment industry, I get up at 5 in the morning, go to the gym, be out the gym by 7 o'clock, 7:30, start my day with clients in London. And I normally end my day sometimes at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning with clients in Los Angeles. So I stay busy. I don't have time to do anything else but work. And constantly I was being accused of, not being consistent. Well, I text you, you text me. I text you, you text me. If I text you and you don't respond, I'm not double texting your ass. Like, I don't know who makes the laws of dating or where people feel the need to chase somebody. I'm sorry. I'm $1 million man. I'm not chasing behind anything because that's just not my motto. I don't even chase money, and I love money. However, you know, if I know you're having a bad day, I might double text you. But in this type of situation, when the tension was at a all-time high and you just stop texting because you're mad, I let you have your space. I let you have your peace. Lord beholds, I get a text saying, "Oh, since you don't want to text back, you just have a great day." Okay, but I was the last one to text. Now, if you didn't get my text, just say you didn't get my text. But don't go assuming shit because that's another thing about me. I don't like assumers. That will get you blocked very quickly. Well, we made up. Things were fine. We spent Thanksgiving together, met their family, spent Christmas together, decorated. And Then comes their birthday in January. We went to the cabins, did a nice little thing. We celebrated, you know, come back from the cabins and we ended up in therapy. Now, I never had been to therapy before that point. And it was new to me. We talked to the therapist. The therapist was a relationship therapist. And, the therapist was like, hey, y'all are two great individuals. I don't see anything wrong with what's going on. That was it. We brought the whole entire situation that caused an argument that time. The therapist was like, hey, y'all seem to love each other. You just might need a little space. Like, don't be under each other all the time. Like, and that's true because if you smother somebody, like, it not everybody needs that all up on me type of love. I'm not that type. They weren't. So, Valentine's Day comes, they were working, I was working. So that weekend we celebrated, we did a little something. And then comes March, March, things were, a little here, a little there. Then comes April. Well, April. That made 7 months for us. It was kind of special. I had some stuff planned, but apparently God had more things in store for me because God said that on his time. Um he stopped everything I had to do for one of those days. And Lord beholds, we gotta have a talk now. After like a week went by, and I'm like, what do we have to talk about? Like, they've been sick. Um, so I check on them. I didn't want to catch what they had because it was contagious. So I was like, what we gotta talk about? Roll up to the crib, people, just strolling. I was like, hold up now. We've never talked outside. So I already knew in my mind. Okay, we about to break up. Got it. Understood. So, Lord beholds, they couldn't put together the words. And I was like, okay, we not gonna waste no time here. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you one opportunity to say what I think that you're about to say. And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, the energy from the last week and the energy that I'm feeling right now, I know what this conversation is. Just say it so we can go about our business. They was like, well, what do you think I'm trying to say? I was like, are you offering up that you're not going to try to say what you want to say? That is basically the reason I'm over here. It was like, well, I mean, give it a shot. If it's right, I'll let you know. I was like, you're breaking up with me. They was like, well, yeah, kind of. Like, I really love you, but, my therapist said, I need to focus on healing myself and all of that good stuff. Because, before we met, they were going through a separation of an 8-year relationship. So I understood that. I did nothing but support this person through the whole entire relationship. But, you know, I'm like, cool. They offered up the information like, hey, we can still hang out and we can still be friends and all this good stuff. I'm thinking in my head, man, please stop with this bullshit. Like, it is hard to be friends with somebody that you've dated because the events that follow tell you everything about that person. And Lord beholds, 3 days later, I showed up. I was like, hey, they had a rough week, even though we just broke up, I'm gonna leave them a little something for them to come home to like, hey, show that I still love them. As a friend now, I at least want to say, hey, starting a new chapter as friends, da da da, all this other good stuff. I turn into the driveway and see a fucking car. I was like, hold up. It's only been fucking 3 days. Like, what the fuck? You upgraded a damn car in 3 days? Like, what is going on here? So I text. I was like, hey, are you home? They was like, no, I'm at work. What's up? I'm like, whose car's here? I mean, I know we just recently, took a break, broke up, whatever. They was like, oh, that's somebody staying with me. That's nobody, it is what it is type situation. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Got in the house, seen them on the sofa. And I was like, oh shit. You just lied. Because when a person has a type, and I'm like, why does this motherfucker sitting on the couch look just like me? It's only been 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. You know what? I was like, hey, how you doing? I just came over to drop off a couple stuff. I dropped off all that shit. And you know what? I was like, okay, cool, bet. You know, I left that shit where it was. And, I just stopped texting. They reached out, hey, we're having bad weather, all this other stuff. I was like, yeah, it's bad. I kept that shit at a minimum. And you know what? You know, time went by. I would text. You know, when you're in a relationship, you text back real quick. Those text message responses went from seconds to 4 and 5 days in between texts. I'm like, you know what? Let me stop giving this energy because this ain't going nowhere. And you know what? Lord beholds, stumbled upon some information from my good old buddy Facebook, and this person was suggested as a friend. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Never had ever exchanged social media because that's my thing with dating. If I'm dating you, we don't follow each other because some people just say some stupid ass shit, and I don't want to see that. Like, you and your friends can laugh at this shit, but I don't want to see it because sometimes that humor is not funny to me. Well, I started looking. I was like, oh, 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 okay. You lied. So I asked my Facebook audience, what do you think of cheaters? And this is what they said. Let me go through this. Ciao, cause woo. Yeah, oof. It like these responses from my people, I love y'all, my Facebook family. Y'all really be riling up behind me. That should be so real. Like, all 1 million of y'all, love you to death. Um, but some individuals was like, don't waste my time. A cheater's worthless. It's wrong. I hate them. If you have a feeling about it, then you should let it go. Assholes, not right. A bow wow challenge, which is very funny. I hate cheaters. I despise them. Sad and hurt and disturbed, but just leave me alone. I think you just obviously haven't met your soulmate yet. And you know what? This person used to say all the time, oh, I think you're my soulmate because you're doing things that the other person would never do, and I begged them and you just did it naturally. So for some shit to end like this, I'm like, oh, I can never respect you again. Like, people like this can never. And then I asked my audience, what do you think of serial cheaters? And the definition of a serial cheater is a person that needs to always be in some type of relationship. And one thing I will say, this individual never had real friends because anytime I was texting or calling my friends, they would kind of catch an attitude, and that was kind of like a red flag. But I kind of just scaled over because I mean, it wasn't in a grand standard like they took the phone out my hand, but like when you never have friends and then you always want me to spend time with you, I'm like, huh? What? Like, you don't have no friends? Like, that's why I said I don't have to text the person that I'm dating every day. Like, I'll check in, but it ain't gonna be a full fledged conversation. It's just gonna be like, hey, how'd your day go? Oh, okay, cool. And keep it moving. Like, but when I asked them about a serial dater, these people went bananas. They was like, never had to sleep with a man or woman to be holy. They are scum. Don't like them. They're just as bad as cheaters. Cheating is so deceptive and very hurtful. Like, this person went through one with their ex husband of 10 years. This other individual said, can't stand them. Just be honest. Give people a choice. When you cheat, you take that other person's choice away. Like, cheaters will never win. And that's something I say. Cheaters will never win. And if you're a serial dater, like if you always feel the need to be in a relationship, I feel sorry for you. Like I really do. Like you just have to really, 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 really not love yourself. Like seriously. But I'll be getting into a little bit more of this next week. But in the meantime, follow me on socials. Keep it locked in with me at Jazan Azari, and I'll be doing some polls throughout the week and tune in so I can have more to talk with you about. But until later, peace.